I got some oceanfront property in Arizona. From my house, you can see the sea. I got some oceanfront property in Arizona. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Story Time with Brian. Story Time with Brian. Today's episode is brought to you by the state of Arizona. It's also brought to you by turmeric latte, because sometimes coffee is just not enough. We got to put some spices in there, just spice it up. All right, gather around, children. Gather around, boys and girls, adults, grandchildren, grandparents. Oh, pull that laptop just a little closer. Snuggle up to the warmth, feel the glow, and enjoy this beautiful story from Brian. All right. The story takes you back, I don't know, a number of years, 2018, spring of 2018. I was staying at a property in Arizona. Who'd have thought? Just south of Sedona, this beautiful permaculture land, mesa, is on a mesa. How to get there was really crazy. Regardless, beautiful property, 100 chickens, 20 goats, 3 sows, and a javelina, a wild javelina pig. For those of you playing the home game, it's a wild boar pig that they domesticated. All lots of fun. Oh, and 2 pit bulls and a bunch of other critters. It was acting as a temporary spiritual center that I was staying at. And from the mesa, there was this beautiful, well sort of groomed path that led us down to the valley below, where there was a river flowing through, right? And I used to like to go down that path to the river, but I noticed it was looking a little rough. Some of the rocks had come down and the path was hard to navigate. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do some service and I'm going to clean that path up and make it look a lot prettier and a little safer to navigate down to the river. Cool. So it's a beautiful kind of wintry spring day, right, in Arizona. And I'm just wearing a bright pink t-shirt and purple pants. Whatever, that was just sort of the fashion. I was doing the hippie thing. My hair was down here. I was doing the whole hippie thing then. Back then, doing the hip thing. So anyway, spent a few hours using a broom and a shovel and just like clearing up the path all the way down from the table mesa from the top down to the river below. And I don't know, I was finishing up, so I decided to take a break. And I kind of plopped down, just taking in the sun, taking in the warmth, taking in the view of the river coming through a few adjoining properties. And the closest adjoining property was this beautiful, like well-groomed estate. There's trees all over the place, really well-manicured lawns and gardens, and beautiful houses, almost looked like a retreat center. Well, it wasn't. It was a property owned by John McCain, the famous senator, no longer with us. It was a property that he would send his guests to so they could have a nice retreat in Arizona, right? Okay, well, star that for later. Just note that. Okay. One really weird thing about the property was there are these big, beautiful trees that were great by the river. This one particular tree had a branch that came out. The branches were huge, right? And there was, under this one branch was some chairs, but hanging from the branch were like ceiling fans, like indoor ceiling fans hanging from this branch. So somehow they wired a wire to the tree and they electrified these. I don't know why. I mean, I know it gets hot in Arizona, but really a fan when you're already outside seems kind of silly. Anyway, weird note. So anyway, I'm chilling up, I'm enjoying this view, enjoying the beautiful views, the property of the river. And all of a sudden, I kind of look out and I see 3 SUV Secret Service-y sort of vehicles departing that property. I'm like, oh, maybe John is departing and he's going somewhere and they're cool. Didn't think anything of it, right? And, shortly after that, I'm like, I think I'm going to head back up and go back to I was sleeping in a trailer at the time. Go back to my trailer and just kind of chill out for a bit because I've been working. And I get to the top and all of a sudden I see 3 official looking officers coming, and I'm like, oh shit. So like I like get back down and I'm like kind of like clinging to the wall, pretending like nothing's going on, right? all of a sudden, the gentleman, there was a couple living on this property maintaining it, and the gentleman's name was Kelly. And just to kind of paint the picture for you, Kelly loved wearing this sort of maroon robe, and he had this long beard, and he was older, and he looked like St. Francis of Assisi. He was like, and by the way, he was like a full-bred Texan, right? And he loved to play that role. Like, hey, Brian, you down there? I'm like, yeah, Kelly, what's happening? He goes, could you come up here for a minute? I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And at this point, I can't deny it. So I walk up. I walk up, and I'm immediately approached by one of the officers with a paper and pen in his hand. He goes, can I have your information? Can I have your identification? I'm like, for what? What did I do? What did I do, right? And he goes, I need to get your name for the record. I'm like, the record for what, officer? I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm on private property. I didn't do anything. Like, what's going on? He goes, okay, fair enough. And he puts his paper and pen away. I said, what's going on? He goes, well, there's some guests staying at the McCain property next door, and they saw you, mind you, going back to the beginning, bright pink t-shirt, purple yoga pants, long hippie hair. The guests at the McCain property saw you and were threatened or scared by your presence. They thought you may have been a sniper or someone there to do them ill harm. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, you don't look very scary. And so he's just like, we just had to come check it out because they filed a report. So we have to check it out, right? And so the three officers are just like kind of bewildered by this property because, again, it's like a permaculture off the grid sort of property. And so Kelly's like, come on, boys, I'll show you the pigs and the sows and the chickens and the goats. Come on. And he like walks them through the property and like distracts them from me. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? I'm like, how is that possible? How is this threatening presence wearing bright pink t-shirt and purple pants threatened by someone over there? I'm like, really, this is great. But anyway, so this is the story. It's just like, and we sort of, Kelly and I debriefed about it afterwards. He's like, yeah, I saw these three patrol officers coming up the driveway, and he goes, I put on my best Southern accent. He goes, hey boys, what can I do you for here, huh? And he's like, well, apparently there's a disturbance next door to the McCain property. He's like, oh, there is. Well, come on, let's go check it out then, eh? And he just put on his full Southern accent. It was great. But anyway, I share this with you because it's like, these are the weird things that happen in my life. And, it's like, gotta laugh. Weird stuff happens. As the wonderful quote is, truth is stranger than fiction. And that's what I'm going to leave you with tonight, boys and girls. Truth is definitely stranger than fiction. So thank you all for listening. I love all of you. You're beautiful beings. All right. Well, don't forget to spice up your life, boys and girls, because sometimes spicing it up is better than just drinking it vanilla. All right. Be well, everyone. I love you. Have a great day.